Hey there, Descendants, my fellow Americans, and people in other countries around the world. How are y'all doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Before we get into today's video, if you do enjoy the content that you see, please do consider hitting that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. Today, I'm just going to be kind of providing my thoughts on, the recent announcement of Gley being adjusted. I believe it's her Blood and Iron Transcendent module. They're going to nerf it, essentially. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, so to start things off, I just want to say that if you're freaking out about the recent announcement of Gley's rework, I would personally try to hold your horses a little bit in terms of, just assuming that it's going to absolutely destroy Gley, or, that you wasted your caliber on an ancestor module or whatever the case might be. Because even if we face the worst case scenario of, Gley pretty much going back to the way she was before, which I do not think will happen, right? I don't think that she'll be nearly as useless as she was prior to her readjustment, even after this upcoming rebalance that they're going to be releasing for her. But even if that is the case, right? Down the line, they're going to buff Gley again. It's inevitable. It's only a matter of time, right? So even if you do feel like, your ancestor module that you just acquired is going to go to waste, that won't last. That won't be a thing that's permanent. And I also want to caution the community going forward, when they do Descendant rebalances and stuff like that, before jumping the gun and just simply, buying an ancestor module right out of the gate for like 3,000, 5,000, however much caliber you may have spent on it. Another thing that I would personally like to caution the community on is, when we have announcements about readjustments or nerfs or whatever the case might be, again, kind of stifle your expectations. Don't formulate an opinion just off of the words. Don't formulate an opinion off of things on paper. Actually see how it works out in practice, and then see how you really feel about it. Because I've made that mistake before. If you guys remember, if you guys are longtime viewers on my channel, you know that I put out a video about optimization condition and the amorphous materials being repurposed and stuff like that. I did not have a positive reception to it on paper, but after experiencing it in practice, it was, I completely changed my opinion, right? So, but yeah, I especially don't think that this is any reason to attack Nexon or say, oh, they don't know what they're doing, they don't test things, blah, 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 blah. Because in fairness to Nexon and Magnum Studios, how in the hell were they supposed to know that these YouTubers would put out these cracked out builds that are absolutely min-maxed down to the finest percentile, and then the community would follow suit with those builds? The builds that they test with are going to be a build that is more accessible to a general audience if they do any testing at all. And furthermore, the most testing that they're probably going to do is just going to be in the laboratory, which is going to yield slightly different results versus actually testing things out in the field. Not only that, but they might also have a very finite amount of time to test how things work. So, there's a lot of different factors and things to consider when doing stuff like this and formulating opinions on stuff like that. Again, I just want to caution you guys to kind of, hold your horses a little bit. Don't actually formulate your opinion. Wait until things play out in the game. Wait until the updates release in the game and see how they feel to you to decide whether or not you like it or you dislike it, whether you're for it or against it, whatever the case might be. I think that's very, very important for the community to learn to do going forward. Because I've seen time and time again, they announce something like this, the community goes fucking berserk. They jump on the forums, they attack Nexon endlessly over what is essentially nothing at the end of the day, right? I mean, I would say, for 90% of the newest updates that they've released, it's been for the better of the game rather than, worsening the game overall. That's what I would personally say. To kind of further my point here, I'm assuming that it's going to be a lot of people who are speaking out against this. I'm not saying everybody, because it's definitely not everybody. I know that some people are definitely well-intentioned when they speak out against things like this. But I want to say that for a lot of the community that's speaking out against it, it's going to be based on sheer ignorance and, simply just ignoring the fact that Nexon does, or Magnum Studios does have a better track record than not with the game, especially with the updates that they've released over the past few months. For example, we're moving away from siloed content. We've seen materials for swords spread throughout Axion, Sigma, the new dungeons, breach tracking, etc. more things are farmable in different places now. Even though it's story related, you can farm Dia in Sigma Sector as well as the newest dungeon that they released, you know. So looking at every good thing that Nexon has done for the game, why should this update be the end of that? You know, why should this update be the beginning of something absolutely horrible and something that's going to absolutely, you know, destroy the game? I don't think that's the case. What I do think is the case is, you know, they went into their testing with limited information, which of course they did, because they're, I mean, I don't think they have time to sit down and watch YouTube videos or anticipate what YouTubers are going to do with the builds. Of course, when the YouTubers put out the builds, the community is going to, you know, go to their favorite creator who put out said build, and they're going to try to copy it as closely as they can, because the creators want to help out the community. That's all there is to it. So, you know, I think that saying that, oh, they didn't test it, I don't think that's exactly fair to Magnum Studio, because how could they have tested it would be, you know, that's my question, right? How could they have possibly tested something like this? I don't think they could have. But, you know, be that as it may, you know, I don't know. I'm just speculating here, but I would imagine that I'm closer to the truth than not. And yeah, I mean, yeah, just I guess that's about it. Hopefully I can, you know, open some of your guys' eyes a little bit with this video. And if not, you know, if you just vehemently disagree, please let me know down in the comments respectfully. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.